All right, shalom, brothers and sisters out there. Now, this is part 2 of You Only Live Once. And the religion of You Only Live Once, part 2. This is called AI deception. Now, why are we going over the AI deception and You Only Live Once? Because the wicked people in the society are atheists. And they're trying to push this deception on people. And a good way that they're trying to do it is a project called Project Bluebeam. Now, if you understand Project Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam was whispered as a conspiracy a long time ago. That you have people, these rich elites or these deep state elites, was actually working on a project where they were able to do a lot of things in the air and mock things like the second coming, or do a lot of hologram technology in the air. And there's a video about that too. Videos also about that too that goes into Project Bluebeam.
It's called Project Bluebeam, a theory that NASA and world governments plan to use holograms, drones, and mind control tech to stage a global event. The goal? Convince humanity that aliens have landed, or that a divine figure has returned, so we unite under one single world government. Believers say the tech already exists. Massive holographic displays in the sky, voice-to-skull technology, and AI-generated miracles. Sounds insane, but think about it. If you saw UFOs in the clouds and heard a voice in your head, would you question it?
Daily Cash. We do the research, you get the highlights.
Their plan is to create, eventually, and hoax, a threat from outer space, to try to unite the world like Independence Day, the movie, in a sort of a military global junta of humans against aliens. It's all nonsense, it's BS. But it sells well. It sells movies, it sells tickets, it sells books.
This is the Bluebeam, Project Bluebeam?
Yeah, that related to that. And I've met with many men who've been on operationally, like literally have been operational in those programs. Now, it went from really clunky stuff, like the Betty and Barney Hill abduction. People think that was alien. It wasn't. It was us. Late 50s, early 60s. And I think President Obama's actually working on a documentary about that. And it was an interracial couple, a very interesting story. But most people have no idea what really happened with that. And this is one of the really disturbing parts of this archive, is what are the technologies that are in the hands of these sort of monsters, and how have they used it to deceive the public, but also deceive policymakers and presidents.
Imagine waking up to holograms of the end times in the sky. Project Bluebeam, a secret plan, promises exactly that. Is this the ultimate conspiracy? First whispered by Serge Monast in the 1990s, Project Bluebeam suggests staged miracles to unite humanity under one world order. Could this be true? Holograms so real they deceive the human eye, voices directly in your head. Advanced technology makes these ideas shockingly plausible today. Despite Monast's claims, proof remains elusive. Yet the idea persists, blending myth, warning, and potential blueprint for global control. In a world where AI and satellites dominate, the line between conspiracy and reality blurs. Could Project Bluebeam be closer to fact than fiction? Fear and fascination fuel the Project Bluebeam mythos. Some see it as a warning, others as a mere conspiracy. But the debate continues to grow. As technology advances, the possibility of such control feels less like science fiction. We must question, how much of our world is manipulated? Myth, warning, or blueprint? Project Bluebeam remains a chilling concept. In our tech-driven age, we must remain vigilant and discerning.
Now, when you think about those videos that talk about that, Project Bluebeam, and about how all these nations are going to come together as one, they're going to see, hear about their religious experience and things like that, and hear about that. And remember that not too long ago, Trump and president of Israel was actually acknowledging that they were aliens. So they're trying to rally the people. They're trying to rally the people if they're constantly talking about aliens.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years. Not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago, he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces. Well, we did ask the White House, the Department of Defense and Israeli officials to comment. So far, they have not responded to the NBC News request, and I wonder if they ever will.
But you know that there's going to be some signs in the heavens. Things like that. There's going to be certain things going on. So we already know that. Let's go to Luke 21:25. So they're going to be doing certain things up in the air that we don't have the understanding of. We know bits and pieces, but they're going to be doing some experiments in the air. I mean, we already seen a lot of past things that they did before with the drones and things like that, chemtrails and all sort of things, but yeah, they're going to be doing things in the air. Luke 21:25. And Ezekiel, can you get it? Luke, the 21st chapter and 20.
Actually, someone to pick up.
Okay. Can somebody get Luke 21:25?
Yeah.
All right. Luke 21:25.
Luke 21, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars.
So it says there are going to be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars. So these signs that's going to be in the sun and moon and the stars, these are the signs that going to be like that they're going to be doing, like probably doing some holographic activity in the sun or on the moon or on the stars, because if they're negative signs on here, most of these negative signs be caused by men. Because sun, moon, and stars, and also you have natural signs that's coming from the Most High, like you have the blood moon or things like that. Then, so some of these are natural, and some of these will be man-made. Keep going.
And upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity.
So right there it says distress of nations, and it says with perplexity. So just when you think about the word perplexity, so the word perplexity, it means perplexity is where it's saying, it's from the Greek word like doubting, or to be, according to the Strong's, it says to have a way out, to be lost mentally. to be in this doubting way of loss mentally. According to the Thayers, it means to be lost at oneself, to be embarrassed in doubt, to be without resource. So in other words, they're going to be like lost, like perplexed, like mentally lost, like what's going on. Like the nation's going to be lost. So understand, they're looking up and they're seeing things and they're confused. They're lost, like what's going on? What's going on? So you have to start putting two and two together. They're seeing these weird things in the air. So when you think of Project Bluebeam and people seeing the signs of the things in the air, all these different religious icons, religious symbols, like they're probably seeing, like a good example in India, they probably showing all the East Indian gods up in there and they're looking confused. They're like, wait, okay, what's going on? And things like that. But keep going.
For it's like the sea and the waves roaring.
So it says the sea and the waves roaring. So that's there. When it says the sea and the waves roaring, that goes into something called HARP. HARP, and also the Aurora base in Antarctica. So if you understand HARP and the Aurora base in Antarctica, those are the ones that has access to weather changing. So they're able to do things and cause a lot of these hurricanes and things like that, cause the sea and the waves to roar, have these super hurricanes that can destroy things that they need. That's what it means when it says the wave roaring. There's videos that talk about HARP or the Aurora station that can control weather patterns. Yes, HARP, that thing called HARP, is able to control weather patterns. Yes, there's videos on that.
They are located in Gakona, Alaska. The project is
Weather
called
modification is real.
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, originally a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy in cooperation with a number of academic institutions.
HARP is comprised of 180 antennas, approximately 72 feet tall, linked together to function as one giant steerable antenna. Steerable because it can aim millions of watts of ELF waves into one tiny patch of the atmosphere.
The amount of energy we're talking about here is 3.6 million watts, injecting their entire output into a spot that's about 12 miles across by about 2.5 miles deep by about 90 miles up.
This is where HARP is pointing. It's an area located roughly 300 miles from Anchorage. The U.S. military says HARP is merely being used to study the physical and electrical properties and behavior of the ionosphere for both civilian and defense purposes. Another theory has surfaced. The intense energy being beamed into the sky by HARP is actually heating up the atmosphere, causing weather changes.
HARP is being used for weather modification. The military's own record proves it. They've admitted it within their own documents, and yet they still deny it to the public.
HARP is one of several ELF wave transmitters located all over the globe. The United States owns and operates 3 of them, one in Gakona, Alaska, another in Fairbanks, Alaska, and one in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Russia has one in Vasilursky near Nizhny Novgorod, and the European Union has one near Tromsø in Norway. Working in tandem, these transmitters could potentially alter the weather anywhere in the world, changing the jet stream's course entirely, triggering massive rainstorms or droughts. Even hurricane steering would be possible by heating up the atmosphere and building up high-pressure domes that could deflect or change the course of hurricanes.
Even the Chinese had their own version of that, because during the Beijing Olympics, they was able to just get rid of some of the clouds, so it wouldn't rain during the Olympics. So they already have technology about that. So you can imagine how high the technology that these military bases are. So let's put it all together. When you read Luke 21 and 25, it says there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. So all these signs and astrological sign on the earth, distress of nations. So it says they're distressed by seeing these signs. They're looking up and seeing the things that's happening all in the heavens, and they're getting distressed, and it says with perplexity. So they lose their at a mental loss, like it's like in a confused state of mind. And it seas and the waves roaring. So now that's the connection to harp right there, to that harp station. But let's see how bad it's going to get. Luke 21 and 26.
Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth.
So, men's heart failing for fear. So they're getting heart attacks at fear because, let's say if you're not following after the program, they're able to put fear on you. Yeah, they're able to like put a lot of fear. But they're looking up and they're seeing these things like, oh, whoa, what's this, what's that? So if you're not following the program of this whole you only live once or this whole AI thing, yeah, they can get you. Keep going.
And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken.
So the powers of heaven shall be shaken because all the experiments that this technology is doing. So let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11, getting back to AI. Now, understand that AI is something that's very serious because we're like in the middle of it. Same thing with Project Bluebeam. That was very, very serious too. But in order to get people to believe in all these things that's going on, they have to try to get rid of their faith. So they have to put them in that state of disbelief or atheism, make them more atheists. And that's the way the society is. They're trying to make the world as atheist as possible. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 11. Read it. Read it when you get it. 2
Thessalonians 2 and verse 11. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion.
Yes, can you speak up a little louder?
Come on. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion.
Strong delusion. So when they're in a strong delusion, it's like hard for them to understand. They're being confused. That's like a large confusion when you're deluded like that. Keep going.
That they should believe a lie.
So that they should believe a lie. And what's this lie? That's this lie that this AI is causing, like from Project Bluebeam. So they're looking up and they're seeing what's going on with Project Bluebeam and they're saying, okay, they'll go with it. Keep going.
That they all may be damned whom believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Oh, pleasure in unrighteousness. So just like we read in part 1, that's like we seen in part 1, the video of part 1, Religion of YOLO, part 1, the proud, where we was talking about wisdom of Solomon, second chapter, that shows about the atheists just walking around having pleasure after pleasure because they say, oh, we don't believe that we're going to live again. We're not going to have no more life. So they were just walking around, just going around because they thought everything was okay. They have unrighteousness. See, the thing is, the Most High, He understands when you're doing these things, and He's able to put down. He could just make you be deluded, or he can make you be deluded. He could take your mind away from you, like He did Nebuchadnezzar. There was a video that we did where He talked about the how Nebuchadnezzar's mind was taken away from him, and also how he attacked King Herod. Where we talked about the kings. Where we talked about how the kings were attacked. It's a video that we did about that. But now about the pleasure of unrighteousness. A lot of people mocked God and they had to pay the price. When you mock God, you pay a price. Because the Most High, he sees what you're doing. Yeah, you ain't just gonna just get away with that. There's actually videos on that about people that mock God.
People who mocked God and paid the price. Stephen Hawking once said God is a fairy tale and does not exist. At 21, he was struck with ALS, a disease that slowly paralyzed his body. John Lennon bragged, "We're more popular than Jesus." Years later, outside his New York apartment, he was gunned down. Michael Jackson once arrogantly compared himself to Jesus. The next day, he was found lifeless in his room. The Titanic was called unsinkable. Some even said not even God could sink her. 4 days later, she sank. taking 1,500 souls into the icy Atlantic.
Moms are holding strong with 3 shout-outs. God, creator of the universe, 0 mentions. No surprise in this godless town.
See, the Most High, he's not mocked. You don't just get away with that. Let's go to Galatians 6 and 7. That's Galatians, the 6th chapter and the 7th verse. Because like these people that's into the religion of YOLO, thinking that they're going to get away with it, that they're going to make a mockery of God and just think they just can just walk out scot-free. It don't work like that. Right? Galatians 6 and 7.
Galatians 6 verse 7. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Yeah, if you sow, whatever you put out there is something that you want to get back in return. The guy, I believe Jim McKeezy or whatever his name, who did Passion of Christ, who made the movie Passion of Christ, making Christ look like a white guy and things like that, with the one who did Mel Gibson, he got struck with lightning on the set while making the movie.
It's been rumored, I don't know how true this is, that as you were filming this, you were hit with lightning?
Yes.
That's true.
I was lit up like a Christmas tree. It was a shot I was doing on the Sermon on the Mount, and I knew it was going to hit me about 4 seconds before it happened. I said, I'm going to get hit. And when it happened, I saw the extras grab the ground in front of me, our stylist. 5 minutes after I got hit, Jan Michelini, one of the assistants, walks over and says, "Are you okay?" Then he got hit, and I said,
You had a literal miracle in the set. I mean, what do you attribute? I mean, you could have died. People get hit with lightning playing golf and they die.
Yeah, or get incinerated. Jan, but the hairiest thing about it is Jan, who came up to me, had already been hit. Some are not going to accept it, but the opportunity will always be there for them. But here's the other thing. It will stay with them the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
People are always going to come up to them. They'll always ask them about the movie they were in. It will always haunt them.
Yeah. A person like Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, he made music videos of mockery, where he did a lot of mockery, and his career went down.
I've lost all ambition or worldly acclaim. I just want to be the one you love.
And when I smile, this is me doing a full smile right now, by the way. It's like,
I am the way.
It's like, what the?
There was another guy who did something called the Chosen. The Chosen it was called The Chosen. It was a series about Christ, but the way he made Christ look so sensitive. So and the thing is, he's going through different mental stages. Now, The Chosen is a good show for history, but it made Christ look a little bit sensitive, and it wasn't a correct color of Christ, how Christ described himself. So he's going through a lot of mental stages because of that. And they even kind of made a whole video about his mental stage that he's going through, where it's called Jesus and Jonathan. So these people that mock Christ, yeah, they think they're just going to get away with it. But you just can't just get away with it. Now, about them, how can they believe a lie? That's the thing. Only how, like it tells you, like in 2 Thessalonians 2:11, it says strong delusion is going to hit them that they shall believe a lie. But how can a person believe a lie? Only if they are being deceived. And how can they be deceived? Let's go to Daniel's 12:4. Remember, the dragon, which is Satan, it says deceive the whole world. It says, let's remember, It says that great dragon was cast out that deceived the whole world. It didn't say that great dragon that was cast out deceived the whole world except the Catholics, except the Baptists. He didn't say except the Mormons. He didn't say except the Episcopalians. He didn't say except the Jewish people. He didn't say except the Methodists. It says except the elect. Those are ones, because they have that love of Christ where they can escape this. But let's see about the ones who can be deceived. What's going to happen in the last days? Daniel's 12 and 4.
Daniel's 12, verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
So this right here, this verse is very deep. It says, shut up the words of the book and seal it even to the end, meaning the understanding of the words. Many shall run to and fro, so they shall go back and forth, and knowledge shall be increased. So when you start thinking about knowledge, how knowledge is increased, knowledge will increase from thousands of years, then from 500 years, then 100 years, then 50 years, to now 10 years, and now every year you're getting something new. Now knowledge increased so much that now you have something called artificial intelligence, AI. So, and one of the things about AI is one of the most popular ones is called ChatGPT. So let me just read this about ChatGPT from Wikipedia. I know we can't trust anything from Wikipedia, but it's good at current events and certain events. This is an article about ChatGPT. It says ChatGPT is generatively artificial intelligence chat box developed by OpenAI and released in 2022. It is currently used GPT-5 general transformer to generate text, speech, and images in the response of the user's prompt. It is credited with accelerating the AI boom on an ongoing period marked by rapid investments and public attention towards the field of artificial intelligence. If you understand what that is, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo about how good artificial intelligence is, so good that now it's now accessible for the general public. So we're just saying that these scientists just put some mumbo jumbo stuff together with holograms, and now y'all can use them. So there's a video that goes into ChatGPT a little bit more clearer.
How ChatGPT was created. ChatGPT, a groundbreaking language model developed by OpenAI, emerged from the evolution of artificial intelligence and natural language processing technologies. Its story began with the founding of OpenAI in December 2015, a research lab with the mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence, AGI, benefits all of humanity. OpenAI's foray into language models started with GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer, launched in 2018. GPT was a transformative step in language understanding, using deep learning to interpret and generate human-like text. Building on this, OpenAI released GPT-2 in 2019, which was more advanced and capable of producing remarkably coherent and contextually relevant text. The real breakthrough came with GPT-3 in 2020, the third iteration, which was unprecedented in its scale and sophistication. GPT-3's ability to generate creative, nuanced, and contextually rich text set a new standard in AI language models. ChatGPT, an extension of GPT-3, was designed specifically for interactive and conversational purposes. It integrated deep learning algorithms to understand and respond to user inputs in a more dynamic, engaging manner.
Now, when you start thinking about this whole thing about this wicked, wait 1 second. Wicked thing about ChatGPT. Now, and AI. Let's go to 2 Timothy's 3:1. 2 Timothy 3:1. This still goes into that whole thing about ChatGPT, because these are the type of people who are going to be using this ChatGPT the most. So 2 Timothy's 3:1. Once you get it, read it. Isaiah, you.
2 Timothy 3 verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
So perilous times shall come. Time of peril. Keep going.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Meaning they're just going to love their own bodies and things like that. They're going to love to stay in shape. This right here, this is actually going into the beginning of social media. They're going to be FaceTiming each other, showing pictures on Instagram, showing their bodies working out. The females going to be in their bikinis. They're going to love themselves. They want to be models. They're going to be like celebrities and things like that. So it's like it's going to the social media world. Keep going.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves. Covetous.
You want more and more. So they saying, oh, this guy want this one. This one want that one. I want to be like that. They're going to show pictures on Instagram. I want this. I want that. They want something else. Keep going.
Boasters.
They're going to boast how much money they have. They're going to take fake pictures about them being next to cars and things like that. Keep going. Proud. They think they're all that. Keep going.
Blasphemers.
Yeah, they're into that atheist stuff because they're so much in themselves. Keep going.
Disobedient to parents.
Yeah, because many of these parents, they don't really know what their children are doing, especially with the thing with that OnlyFans. Just think about that. We did a video on that, Worship of Belpeor about that OnlyFans. How on OnlyFans, how people who are underage can actually, some people are underage are able to sneak up on that without their own parents' consent and things like that. Keep going. Unthankful, because on these social media apps, they're not thanking the people that helped them. It's all about them. Keep going.
Unholy,
because some of these social media apps, they do some nasty stuff, especially with that OnlyFans. Keep going.
Without natural affection,
because they push that homo sodomite spirit also on that those apps, the Instagram and everything like that, Facebook, TikTok, all that. Keep going.
Truce breakers.
Keep going.
False accusers. Incontinent.
I mean, you want to fight all the time. They're pushing all those things on social media. Keep going.
Fierce.
Keep going.
Despisers of those that are good.
That's going to that atheism and everything. That they constantly put that.
Traitors. Heady. High-minded.
So heady and high-minded goes back into proud. So they talk about proud many times. Keep going.
Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
Bam. That's going into the religion of YOLO. You only live once, because now they love pleasure more than they love the Most High. And that's one of the things. That's the whole thing that was going on with this whole Project Bluebeam, this whole AI. And there's so many different types of AI. They have the AI things because many people's hearts are turning to follow the AI, and they're doing it. And let's go to. I'm going to get into this. Let's go into Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha 10 and 13. Because remember, we was talking about people loving pleasure more than loving the Most High. Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha, also known as Sirach, chapter 10 and 13. Because lovers of pleasure more than lovers of the Most High, because that's certain times when people open their Instagram, they're over there looking for pleasure, looking for lust, things like that. They rather have their Instagram or their little TikTok or on Twitter, and Twitter they're able to actually go past the bounds, because you can see a lot of X-rated stuff on Twitter. That's why you think it's called X. It can go past the bounds. Twitter can go past the bounds than other social media apps. Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha 10:13. Isaiah.
Sirach 10 verse 13. For pride is the beginning of sin.
So pride is the beginning of sin. Keep going.
and he that hath it shall pour out abomination.
So those people that have this pride, this beginning of sin, will start doing abominable acts. So once you start having this strong type of pride, that's where the abomination is. Go to actually verse 12. So at 10 and 12. Ecclesiastes 10 and 12. That's what I want.
Verse 12. The beginning of pride is when one departed from God, and his heart is turned away from his maker.
So his heart is turned away from his maker. So if his heart is turned away from his maker, where is his heart going to turn towards? AI. Just think about that. His heart will turn towards AI because AI is now showing things that they like. And there's different type of AI, like you have Grok for Twitter. Yeah, Twitter had their own AI called Grok, where it they can ask Grok questions. Is this true? What is that? And Grok will answer. Siri has AI. Then you have another type of another type of AI called and you have another type of AI which is like the next stage of ChatGPT, and it's called Sora. Yeah, Sora. And the same thing about that one is the scary version. That whole part about that whole ChatGPT and the Sora, there's some scary things about that. So before we get into Sora, I want to talk more about the history of AI. All right, the history of AI, and there's videos that go into the history of AI. There's a video about that.
And then what do you know? 1956, here comes AI. The birth of artificial intelligence, 1956, a Dartmouth conference, where we see that Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts, they already published papers 13 years prior describing neural networks using binary logic, where their work was resembling something already known, something they found, not something they just imagined. 1943, these two published a groundbreaking paper titled A Logical Calculus of the Ideas Immanent in the Nervous Activity. This paper predicted the structure of artificial neural networks. This is decades before computing could even handle them. The paper used binary logic gates, or zeros and ones, threshold activation, networked structures. We're all told that there was no technology available to something they had access to. There was nothing to base this information off of. Yet they just imagined it out of thin air, all before the first digital computers were even working. I don't believe it came from their imagination at all. I believe it came from memory, from something that was found. You have to ask, how did two guys in 1943 just randomly lay out perfectly structured, precise layered nodes, the tree of life, interconnected, energetic functions, system modular, with interconnected forces like logic gates or computational nodes? This is crucial for AI and supercomputers. Binary logic or dualism and hermetic thought structures that run like flowcharts. It's exactly how an AI can continue to learn, continue to make new decisions. This is not something that two guys just came up with, especially when neither of these guys were even computer scientists. 1943, McCulloch and Pitts write this paper explaining AI to a T without having any computer science background at all, where their paper comes 13 years before neural networks became usable in computing. They described nonlinear, recursive systems using symbolic logic, using old world systems. So if they didn't make it up out of thin air, where did these two get the old world technology from? Pitts and McCulloch worked directly under Norbert Wiener, at MIT, the founder of cybernetics, and heavily involved in top secret wartime projects with deep connections to DARPA's forerunner, Office of Scientific Research and Development, the Manhattan Project Circle, and early RAND Corporation contacts. Having no computers, not one, zero, to even test this idea, McCulloch and Pitts described how binary logic and threshold activation could mimic brain function. And then just 13 years later, we are all given the name artificial intelligence. And 2 years after that, 1958, Mitri was founded as a spin-off of MIT's Lincoln Laboratory to manage the SAGE air defense system, a massive real-time computing network using automated decision-making. In just 2 years, from creating the name artificial intelligence, they just had this real-time computing network that used radar data, logic gates, and automated decision-making, just all ready to go. Are you sure? Or was this the first time that AI was finally reintroduced to the world? The timeline of it all is just way too fast and all over the place, creating the theory with no computers to even test it on. And they didn't even have any background in this field. Yet Mitri shows up and they have this air defense system just making automated decisions just 2 years after the name AI was introduced to the world. Let's keep going. I believe, in my opinion, that AI was not invented. It was resurrected. And the timeline proves this, where in 1943 the paper was written explaining how AI functions. 1956, the Dartmouth Conference happened, coining the term artificial intelligence. 2 years later, 1958, Mitri was launched, using AI in real-time military systems, where the weirdest part comes next. 22 years later, Japan, AI is finally patented. 40 years after McCulloch and Pitts' paper, when we already know that AI was being used in the US government way before this. We just showed this. We now understand that old world technology is being used before it's patented and public knowledge. I believe that patents are admission points to the public eye. SAGE, operational in the 1950s, the AI system that the US government was running, well before it was ever patented, and also before the term artificial intelligence was coined in 1956. This SAGE system took in real-time radar data from over 100 radar stations across North America, analyzed it with massive central computers, made automated decisions about whether a target was friendly or hostile, and gave suggested responses. It thought for itself on whether they should send a missile, a jet, or scramble defense. It had touchscreens, like iPads, for interaction. Well, we are now proving yet another technology was given back to us. And E.A. Johnson didn't invent it at all in 1965. We are showing that they have all of this. And they choose who is going to publicly give it back to us. It is incredible. Factual evidence that these supposed creators of technology, they didn't create anything at all. They were shown the old world technology, and then they were chosen to be the official narrative's supposed guy, pinned as the creator. It is a systematic lie, and we have just exposed this, where SAGE, also networked across multiple regions, connected by long-range telephone data lines, or the internet. This is the 1950s, where we are all told that the internet was invented in 1969. Where the first message was supposedly sent between UCLA and Stanford on October 29th, 1969. This is a bunch of lies that are now exposed. SAGE had internet, they had AI, they had iPads, they had all of it, and I'm sure so much more. And having all of it before the stupid stories that were told, all of it was found, and it is placed back into the world through lies, fake creators, and fake timelines, and lies about the discoveries, telling us that they never found anything at these sites in the early 1920s, when it couldn't be further from the truth. Let's stick the dagger in this narrative. The SAGE system, which was built by Mitri, was using MIT's technology, we are told. And yet we don't officially know how long AI and all of this has been known about. It could be much earlier than this, but this officially predates the official narrative without a doubt. We are told that it was the most advanced computing system network of its time. An AI decision-making system, touchscreen-based interaction, interactive display screens, controlled by a light gun, internet, using this technology nearly 2 decades before the public was introduced to anything similar, where the timeline is clear and undeniable in my opinion. This is gonna change the world forever, and you're never gonna listen to those stupid stories again. 1951 to 1958, RAND, Mitri, and SAGE were all operational, using all of the technologies that we just mentioned, where the official narrative tells us internet doesn't exist. A lie. 1958, Mitri was founded. SAGE Systems Online. With screen interaction, the official narrative says nothing about this. 1960s, RAND, Mitri, and OSRD, or the Office of Scientific Research and Development. Really quick, the OSRD was RAND. It was Mitri. It was the NSA. It was all of it. And then after the World War II ended, OSRD branched off into all these divisions, all involved in secure network development, the internet. But the official narrative tells the public that most of the 1960s were the pre-internet era, with 1969 being the official launch of it. Yet another lie. And then in the 1980s, we all finally see the first patent for AI, coming from Japan, when at this point they were already using AI for decades. And I believe they have been using it a lot longer than 1943. When Warren McCulloch and Walter Pitts finally published their paper in 1943, a logical calculus of the ideas immanent in nervous activity, the first public mathematical model of a neural network, predicting core AI architecture, all before the first digital computer even existed in a usable form. Again, we just showed that they lie. We just showed that they have all of this technology. We know that these two didn't just pull this technology out of a hat and write a perfect paper on it. That's illogical. We know that they had this technology because when they were using it militarily, there were never any flaws. It worked perfectly. And we know that that's not how things work. We know that there's trial and error. And if you're truly developing something, things naturally progress. There are going to be flaws and then corrections. When SAGE was using this technology in the 1950s, this was done. There was no trial and error. After years and years of having it, meaning that they had this technology prior to that 1943 paper, where SAGE, according to public records, costed the government approximately $10 billion in the 1950s, which is over $100 billion today, making it one of the most expensive defense systems ever built. SAGE wasn't just for war. I believe without a doubt that it was a classified AI-based military system project that nobody even knew existed until right now. An old world technology that was brought back into the world, found, rediscovered, and once again, we have to ask, did it ever even leave in the first place? Or has it always been here? And these are just branches of its capability, a computer system that is able to think, adjust, and make decisions in a second or less, constantly molding to improve and think for itself. What is AI? Where did it really come from, and how long has it really been here? Something that we know has been operational since the 1950s, before the public even knew about it. And then we're lied to about the official release date, meaning we don't understand the true timeline of it, the progression of it. But what we do know now is that AI was never created when we were told that it was. And it was here all along, for so many more years than what we were told, where SAGE wasn't the only group using the AI in the 1950s. RAND was invested in predictive modeling, logic networks, and game theory. MIT's Lincoln Lab, or Mitri, was using neural network, lifelike simulations. the CIA, NSA, and OSRD were all involved in top secret computing programs that have never been declassified. We know all about these groups and what they like to do, including the Bell Labs, where in the 1950s they were experimenting with speech recognition, pattern detection, and self-adaptive systems, machine learning. And the one thing that all of these groups have in common, if you're living in the USA, they are all 100% funded by you. 100% funded by the public. They found the technology, they lied about it, and we all wrote the checks. Because every single one of these groups are not only government funded, but also born out of war, secrecy, and post-World War II black operations. And if we all think that AI is the best thing they got, I believe we should all reconsider our thought process right now.
Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2:9. So we can understand more about AI and the darkness that it has behind it. So when you get it, read it. 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter and the 9th verse.
2 Thessalonians 2 verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
And lying wonders. So lying wonders. Let's look at AI. AI means artificial intelligence. So let's look at artificial intelligence, because it says lying wonders. So meaning these wonders that Satan is going to be doing, they're lies. There's something where people are going to be like, oh wow, look at all this, look how beautiful this is. But they're lies. So AI, artificial. What does the word artificial mean? Let me read the definition. Made by human work or art, okay, not natural. So, number 2, it says made in imitation or a substitute for something natural. That's the definition of artificial intelligence. So it's like a non-natural intelligence, a substitute intelligence. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha 1:1, 1st chapter, to see so we can see where this intelligence come from. So we have to see what's the root of this AI, and where did it come from. So let's go to Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, Sirach 1:1.
Sirach 1 verse 1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord and is with him forever.
So it says all wisdom comes from the Lord and is with him forever. So if all wisdom comes from the Lord and is with him forever, and they have this artificial intelligence or this artificial wisdom, and it's a substitute of it, that means it didn't come from the Lord. Where did it come from? Where did AI come from? If it's not from the Lord, it's supposed to be an imitation or a substitute, like we read what the word artificial mean. Let's see where it came from. Let's go to Luke, the 4th chapter and the 5th verse, and we're going to see where this AI, the origin of this AI, where did something like this come from? It just had to come from somewhere. This artificial intelligence or artificial wisdom, or this substitute wisdom, or this wisdom that's not natural. Where it come from? Luke 4:5. Read it. When you get it, Isaiah.
Luke 4 verse 5. And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
So this is the dragon, the great dragon, Satan, is showing Yahweh HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, all the kingdoms of the world at a moment of time. And he's saying something else. Keep going.
And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them. For that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it.
So he will give it unto them, for it is delivered unto him. So this intelligence that's not natural came by Satan. He was the one who started this. Because remember, we just read all wisdom come from the Most High. So if they have something called artificial wisdom, so all wisdom or all intelligence come from the Most High. So if there's some artificial intelligence, it came from the dragon right here. Just think about this. Anything that's artificial have negative effects. You have artificial sweeteners that causes cancer. Like when you look at all these diet, this diet, Coke, diet, that, and you look at the stuff that's in there, you look at some of this is cancer causing. You have artificial medication called drugs that have many side effects. Yeah, there's many side effects, even in painkillers like ibuprofen and Tylenol, which is supposed to be good for you, but it'll tell you you're not supposed to be taking a lot of them because they can mess either your stomach up or your liver up. And you even have something called artificial animals, like mules, ligers, cabots, things like that. These are artificial animals. Animals that are not natural. They have very short lifespans and they can't reproduce. Negative effects. So if you have artificial intelligence, you have intelligence that's from Satan, not from the Most High, because the Most High is the one that gives all intelligence. So if you have something that's an unnatural intelligence, or if you have an intelligence that's made by man or an imitation of the natural, it didn't come from the Most High because He creates pure intelligence. It has negative effects, and let's prove it. 1 Corinthians 3:19. This is going to show you that this wisdom or this intelligence that's of this world is not natural. And let's see what type of intelligence is it and how does it operate. 1 Corinthians 3:19. When you get it, read it.
1 Corinthians 3 verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God.
So it says right here, the wisdom or the intelligence of this world, like artificial intelligence, is foolishness with God. Keep going.
For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness.
They've taken the wise in their own craftiness. And just think about some of the things that's going on in these movies. They make movies about AI and robots. But they've been showing these movies in the past. And I'll give a good example. AI Robot. There was a movie called, iRobot. There was a movie called Terminator. The Matrix. Attila Battle Angel. So what are the odds that they made movies about these AIs? And the thing is, these movies about AIs turn against their makers. Like when it says the wise in their own craftiness, it was these people, these evil people that's following the religion of YOLO, you only live once, was putting together these robots and these AIs in these movies. In all these movies, these robots just turn around and kill their makers. Yeah, Terminator, created by humans, now want to kill humans. iRobot, created by humans, want to kill humans. Matrix, the Matrix robots were created by humans, want to kill humans. Attila Battle Angel, she was created a while and she was thrown into the trash, awoken, and wanted to go and kill their makers. Even if you know about something called Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, they had something called the Android Saga, and it was 2 androids. One was called Android 17, one was called Android 18, and it was created by a guy named Dr. Gero. And after Dr. Gero created them, they turned on them and killed them. That's taking the wise and their own craftiness. And these movies, they have a pattern about the robots or AI being enslaved by humans, and then the robots turning around and killing them. This is why AI is that negative intelligence. Let's go to John 12 and 35. And read it. When you get it, 12 and 35, because it's like these people are putting it in, people are like putting these things in the movies first. And then when people put the things in the movies, it's like they're trying to tell you what's going to happen, like in the future. So John 12 and 35.
John 12 verse 35.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness come upon you.
It says walk while you have that light, that intelligence from the Most High, lest darkness come upon you. Yeah, this AI technology start entrapping you, and you start doing that wickedness. Keep going.
For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth.
Yes, you don't know what you're going if you're going and walking in darkness. Because look at CERN. CERN, a bunch of atheists that lost their faith because following the religion of YOLO, so they just start smashing particles together. Bam! That's what they do, smash particles together. And if you don't understand the history of CERN, it's crazy. I mean, there's videos about CERN.
Here are some fascinating facts about CERN. Nestled on the French-Swiss border, CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, is a scientific powerhouse. The name CERN is derived from the acronym for the French Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, a provisional body founded in 1952 with the mandate of establishing a world-class fundamental physics research organization in Europe. Its primary goal is to unlock the fundamental secrets of the universe by smashing subatomic particles together at nearly the speed of light. These collisions recreate conditions similar to the Big Bang, allowing scientists to study the building blocks of matter and the forces that govern them. However, CERN's endeavors haven't been without controversy. Critics raise concerns about the safety of its experiments and the potential misuse of the knowledge gained. Despite these concerns, CERN remains a beacon of international collaboration, bringing together thousands of scientists in the pursuit of fundamental knowledge. Their work has led to groundbreaking discoveries and contributions to technologies we use every day. CERN is a place that pushes the boundaries of human knowledge, but it also reminds us of the responsibility that comes with scientific progress.
That's why this whole AI thing is so devilish, because it's setting up that dark wisdom. Go to Matthew 24 and 32. Because our point is we have to try to escape this things right here, all this AI that they're trying to do. So Matthew's 24th chapter and the 32nd verse.
Matthew 24 verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
So he says, learn this parable. This was Christ is telling his people. He says he wants his people to learn this parable. He says this parable is a parable of the fig tree, and he's like commanding his people. He says, yes, learn this parable that he's about to show. All right, keep going.
When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh.
So, says the branches of the fig tree is tender, and now there's leaves on it. So, you know that summer's coming. Yeah, summer is about to come. So, we can always see that. Keep going.
So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors.
Even at the doors. So once you start seeing all these things happen with AI technology, the stuff we read about the stuff in the heavens, understand that it's like even at the doors. Go to Luke 21 and 36. Because Christ seen this. And he's warning us of this, to watch out for this. So Luke 21 and 36.
Luke 21 verse 36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass. And to stand before the Son of Man.
So, and to stand before the Son of Man. So you can escape all these things, AI and the delusions, the stuff in the sky and things like that. The AI delusions and the lies that's going on for this religion of YOLO. You only live once, you don't. Pray. That's why it says pray. Even after this, pray. All right. So that's the ending of part 2. Part 2 about AI. All right, so that concludes the class, and I'm just going to read this from Jude 1 and 24. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. In the name of Hamashiach, Yahushua, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, in the name of Yahushua, all the names that they say about Jesus, he knows exactly who you are. In the name of Hamashiach, Yahushua, we say Layla Tawab, which means good night. Layla Tawaba, Layla Tawab. Y'all have a good night. So, Layla Tawaba. Layla Tawab. All right?
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.